Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah. Welcome to Scout Team Sports. We are the Scout Team. It is 6 a.m. on this beautiful Monday morning, September 24th, and we are coming off one of the greatest weekends in sports ever. And I'm going to say that every weekend because every weekend is a great weekend in sports. And I'm really excited to talk about everything coming up. But first, let's get the intros out of the way. I am one of your gracious co-hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
And that is all true. The man, the myth, the legend, the greatest patriot in the entire world, that would be...
Yeah, it's your boy Chris America coming back to you live on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. I am back from a great weekend out in Michigan, enjoying some cooler weather, and I'm ready to talk about this hot, fiery weekend that we had.
Oh, yeah. And there may be another man on the other line. Let's see if we can summon him.
Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey,
I'm only here so I don't get fined. This man with a good mic on a Monday morning, baby. What's going on, guys?
The Golden Ghost is back.
The Golden
He's haunting us.
Dude, I like that name, to be honest with you.
You should change it to Golden Ghost.
The Golden Ghost.
That's a good one.
It was an interesting weekend, man. The Bills? What?
The Bills.
How does that even happen? How does that happen? I don't know.
The Bills.
It was definitely a topsy-turvy football weekend. I go away for one weekend, guys, and the NFL gets turned upside down.
You know what? You're bad luck, by the way. I don't ever want to see you at Lambeau ever again. Ever.
I mean, I wasn't in Lambeau the week before when they tied.
Shut up.
Good point. Against the team that got destroyed by the Bills. So what does that say about the Packers?
Oh, my God, bruh. It's bad. It's just bad.
Is it the knee? Like, what is the excuse we're using here this morning for the Green Bay Packers not being 3-0 this weekend?
Fire McCarthy. Hashtag fire McCarthy.
There's a lot of heat out there for McCarthy. You're not the only one. I've seen a lot of Green Bay Packers fans out on Twitter and just being vocal about what's McCarthy doing. He doesn't know how to game plan. Their defense is trash. They let Black Captain America, Adrian Peterson, run all over him. It was all over the place, man. Again.
It's
being
to the point where, like, we drafted three cornerbacks, and our secondary looks like shredded cheese, man. Seriously, it's I don't understand any of it right now, and none of it makes sense. Like, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the help. We get exposed every other week on that. Our defense, which we were supposed to beef up, looks like they're non-existent for the most part. I want to say, hey, look, it was the penalty, but that was just one penalty, and I can't really put that at the foot of the refs. That was us playing horrible. Green Bay played horrible all the way around this week. So,
man, you're coming in hot this morning.
Listen, being a true journalist that I am, I went up to Green Bay, got the word on the street, hit the beats, and I talked to every single Green Bay owner. I go straight to the source. I go to the owners of the team. That's how bigwig I am with Chris America. And there was no sentiment of fire McCarthy. I watched the game at a sports bar, and all the owners there were more upset about the referee than they were McCarthy. They actually loved that McCarthy had to be held back like he was going to kill two of those referees during the game. They actually loved that fire. I did not get any sense up in Green Bay with the owners that they wanted McCarthy gone.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do as a head coach. You're supposed to go out there and get fiery. You know what I'm saying? Especially with a bull jive call like that. But
I think that's the first time. I mean, other than Will Muschamp, I think that's the first time I've ever seen murder in the eyes of a head coach. I've seen coaches get mad and upset. Man, McCarthy looked like if he had a shank, he would have shanked a bee.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to do that. I've seen a lot of coaches look like that with refs. I'm not worried about what he's supposed to do with that. I'm worried about what he's supposed to do with the offense and the defense. His play calling is questionable right now. It just is, man. And once again, our defense is just non-existent. Seriously, we beefed up our defense during the draft, during the offseason. We didn't get a quality back that Aaron Rodgers actually need, and we just keep getting exposed. Like, you beef up the defense better play lights out. We didn't play lights out. Alex Smith looked like Aaron Rodgers.
Alex Smith looked like Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers looked good, but he couldn't get the offense going. Too many penalties. I saw that was a big time. They would start moving the ball, and then they'd get a holding or a false start or something to set them behind the chains. I know at one point they had like a 3rd and 18, and they got 16 of those yards and couldn't make it past the first down marker. But listen, our fans right now on Twitter, you can hit us up at Scout Team Radio. They're saying enough about this crappy 1-1-1 Green Bay Packers team. We want to talk about the NFL rule of hitting a quarterback. Listen, they have to change this rule like tomorrow. It's getting insane. I think there's going to be pitchforks and torches at Roger Goodell's house soon if this doesn't change, especially if you keep doing it on a passionate fan base like the Green Bay Packers. And one of the best linebackers of our generation, of this generation, Clay Matthews, called 2 weeks in a row for clean, legal football hits. What do you think, Loudbeard?
Hey, well, I've got a live little snippet here from Clay Matthews, so just listen in.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
And so that was Clay Matthews responding to the refs after he gets called for what looks like one of the cleanest hits you could possibly do. But because by the rule, by the letter of the law in the land, they have decided to say if you put all of your weight onto the quarterback, you are toast. You're done. We're going to call a penalty. Clay Matthews, week 1, he has a rough call. But that one was probably a legit roughing the passer. He comes in week 2, has something very similar to what he did yesterday, and he gets flagged for it against Kirk Cousins, and it was really shouldn't have been a call. This one, just as bad. Being a Redskins fan, I enjoyed it because it helped my team out. But being a fan of the NFL, I looked at it and I said, man, this is not good for the NFL. The commentators are like, we've got to fix this. Everybody's sitting there, Twitter's blowing up. Everybody's going crazy and just saying, what is going on? Why is the NFL doing this? We have to fix this rule. This rule is terrible. Now, I don't think they're going to make any mid-season adjustments, but I do think that in this next officiating meeting that the NFL has with the officials, they're going to say, hey, let's go ahead and let's soften up a little bit on this rule. Unless it's egregious, let's not call it. Because otherwise, I mean, we're taking the football out of football. I just don't understand what you can do if you can't tackle. I mean, put flags on their waists or do something because this isn't football.
I saw Matthew Stafford last night, and Matthew Stafford had a play where he was obviously almost down. He had 2 people hanging off of him, and he threw the ball, and they got like 8 yards off of it. And one of the commentators brought up, said, hey, if that was the Green Bay game and he went down, would that have been a penalty? Or would they have blown the play dead when 2 guys got on him to stop him? You know what I mean? To stop the play. I mean, you gotta have all that in effect soon. Like, are we protecting the quarterback to the point where if he gets touched, is the plays dead? Are we going to let him continue on like Matthew Stafford and try to create something and get out of that debacle and get 10 yards down the field and get a first down?
You wrap them all in bubble wrap, man.
I mean, but you can't. I mean, it's Clay Matthews, obviously. I don't know. Maybe the refs have something out for him. But the rule itself is to protect quarterbacks. And I get that. But it's the enforcement of the rule that has me a little bit off, because the refs are judgment people, basically. They're not really saying, hey, look, this is the rule, I make up the rules, and this is what we're going to do this game. They're getting a rule, and they're interpreting it a certain way in their head when they're watching the game, when they're reffing the game. The ref, it is his ultimate responsibility to say, hey, look, that was an obvious penalty, or that wasn't an obvious penalty. Like, you can't take it to the letter of the law. it's interpretation of it, and they haven't interpreted it right lately. I mean, that was the cleanest hit I've ever seen on a quarterback. Almost like really, that was nothing egregious. Alex Smith had the ball. He was going up for the pass. He saw Clay Matthews coming. He tucked, and Clay Matthews wrapped him up and tackled him. It was a textbook tackle. How is that a penalty in any sport? I have no idea, except basketball. Maybe basketball is a penalty, but football, rugby, that's a clean hit. It's a clean
Figure
hit.
skating.
Figure
Yeah.
skating.
Yes.
Figure
Listen,
skating, sorry.
Not only was it a clean hit, but it was a textbook tackle.
Curling.
I don't know what you're expecting, linebackers to do or cornerbacks for that matter, when you call a blitz as a
Volleyball.
defensive coordinator and the offensive line doesn't pick it up at all, which is what happened. Nobody picked up Matthews. Matthews was a clean break straight to the quarterback. And when you are tackling somebody head on, front end to front end, you both are going to fall. Well, you're going to fall forward and the quarterback's going to fall backwards and you're going to land. It's called physics. There's no other way to do it. So what are we supposed to do? You're supposed to kind of come at a quarterback and then go off to the side and grab him by the waist and hope he doesn't throw the ball away or complete a pass. I mean, you got guys like Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, even we saw yesterday with Aaron Rodgers. Just because you wrap him around the waist doesn't mean the play is over. Those guys can hang in there and complete a pass. So what do you got to do? You got to come in. You got to tuck your head right into their shoulder or to the side and drive them to the ground. They got to take this rule out. I don't even know what this rule is protecting. If you want to protect their head, I got you there. If you want to protect their knees, I can understand that. But now we're protecting the torso too. Where else are you supposed to hit a quarterback at this point?
No, I'm 100% in agreement with you, Chris America. But think about it. The quarterbacks this week, there's actually been a lot of injuries. And even before this, it's not protecting the quarterback. You've got Jimmy G, who looks like he's got a catastrophic knee injury. You've got Tyrod Taylor, who gets a concussion and actually helps save the Browns' season. And then you've got Blaine Gabbert, also goes out with concussion symptoms, and they have to bring in a hurt Marcus Mariota back in. The quarterbacks are still getting hurt. You can't take that part of football away. You're trying to protect. You're almost overprotecting, and by overcompensating, we're seeing just as many, if not more, injuries to the quarterback. So the rule's not helping, and it's just aggravating all the fans and aggravating the players. The defensive players are at such a disadvantage. We've made it where it's like the offensive football league. All we want to see is just passing down the field. We want to see a ton of points, and we want it to be like arena football. We don't even want it to be a defensive team. Like these games like Jacksonville when it's 9-6, the refs are like, we didn't do our job. We wanted these guys to go out there and just light it up, and the defensive players keep getting called. It just doesn't make any sense.
And that's not football that I want to watch. I want to watch a good defensive football game. I mean, I want to see some scoring, but, a 10-7 game
That's what she
is
said.
more exciting to me than a 56-25 game. You know what I'm saying? So the rule, I'm agreeing. They need to interpret it right, or it needs to go. It just needs to go. It's a crappy rule. Hopefully they review this on their Monday morning or Tuesday morning and say, ooh, that was bad. What are we going to do?
The problem is they are interpreting right. To the letter of the law, Clay Matthews hit the quarterback, and all of his weight fell on top of the quarterback, and that's against the rules now. And that, to me, is what is the most egregious. During the preseason, we were talking about the the new helmet rules and everything else, and we totally ignored this body weight rule that is coming into play. And to me, I think from the shoulders to maybe mid-thigh level should be open season. I mean, this is tackle football. If you're going to take away that, then let's, like you guys said, let's put them in flags. Let's get the quarterbacks to wear red jerseys. We'll play two-hand touch, and then we'll argue whether or not the player touched him with two hands. And that'll be our new argument. Did Clay Matthews actually touch Alex Smith with both hands? There's the little middle finger tip there, and we've all been there. We've all had that argument on the Sandlot where, no, you only got me with one hand. Yeah, we've been there. Nobody wants that kind of frustration.
Yeah. I mean, you should do the hip flexor and then really quick hump and then roll over, I guess. That's what you have to do. But in a theory, this sounds like Steve Spurrier made this rule up, by the way. I'm just saying.
Okay, I don't know what that means. He's the head beer coach.
The new coach. Yeah.
He's the head beer coach, and he's the new coach of the Orlando Apollos.
Huh. Yeah. That means it's going to be a soft quarterback league, too, huh? You
I don't know what that
he cried
means.
every time he cried every time we touched Warfel. I'm just saying. Every time.
Yeah, and then he just put him in shotgun and lit your ass or your booties up
I'm going to when I
in
see
the
you,
national
when I
championship
see you,
game.
When I see you.
Well,
you
let's,
didn't even deserve to be there. I'm not even getting there, though.
Since we're talking about quarterbacks in the NFL, I want to talk about my new favorite quarterback, the rookie, the MVP of the league right now. Rookie MVP is Patrick Mahomes, still lighting up scoreboards, still beating up teams. Man, if the Chiefs can get their defense right, they can go far in the playoffs. Are you still not sold on Patrick Mahomes, guys?
I gotta see
go
a
ahead,
little bit
Anthony.
more, but he looked really good yesterday. He looked good yesterday, but I gotta see more. I gotta see more, man. You know, just come on. He's a rookie.
First of all, he's not a rookie. So
He's not a rookie.
In the NBA, he's a rookie.
it's his second. It's his second season in the league. He was groomed last year by the top 5 quarterback known as Alex Smith. When you were groomed by a great quarterback like that, it's like when Brett Favre was grooming Aaron Rodgers.
Or Joe Montana to Steve Young.
Exactly. It's the exact same thing. So when you have a great quarterback ahead of you that teaches you the tricks, shows you how to do it, and then he gets handed the keys to the car, and he goes out there, and Patrick Mahomes has absolutely lit it up. There is nothing bad I can say about this guy. He has played phenomenally in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, and he's looking like Fitzmagic out there. And I honestly can't say that I expected this, and I'm pleasantly surprised. And I love to see great football, and Patrick Mahomes is playing great football. I mean, at the way the Chiefs look now, they look like this the first 5 games of the last season also,
Exactly.
and they ended up falling off. So you can't just take it in a small sample size and say this is what we're going to see all year, because the complexities of the NFL season change as there's injuries, as there's just everything going on. And I'd love to see him carry this out for an entire season. But as of right now, he holds the record for most touchdowns in the first 3 games of a season, passing Peyton Manning. I mean, these figures are just mind-blowing how well he's playing. So, okay, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now, Chris America. I'm drinking.
That's what I'm talking about. And we need to be excited because we need a future of NFL quarterbacks that are great. Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees. And if you want
Alex
New York
Smith.
Giants fans, Eli Manning, they're all going to be flushed out in 5 years. They're not going to be here anymore. We need a new batch of guys that we can talk about for the next 15, 20 years. And I think Patrick Mahomes is that guy. And if he plays like that for the next 15 or 20 years, man, are we in for some exciting football?
Okay. So for the next 4 weeks, this is what the Chiefs' schedule look like. They got the Broncos on a Monday night.
That's tough.
They have the Jaguars, and then they have the
Jaguars.
Patriots. Talk to
Okay,
me
so they'll
after
be
those
able to
3
light up
weeks.
the Patriots. Patriots defense isn't
They
that good.
look like crap.
We will know a lot about Patrick Mahomes come Broncos and Jaguars. I think the Jaguars is going to be the greatest. Is that at Jacksonville or in Kansas City?
That is at Kansas City.
Okay, so that'll help him out being in front of, the loud, raucous crowd of the Chiefs at Arrowhead. So I'm excited, man.
But they play in Denver, so
Yeah. He's got to go up there. I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to be up in the city. He already throws the ball about 60 yards, so he'll be able to throw it 80,
Think
being a
so.
mile high up in the
All
air.
right, Superman, mile high. We'll see what happens. Talk to me after those 3 games, and then I'll let you know if he's that great.
Okay. We will. We'll be here. We're ready
Yeah,
for
we'll
you.
be here.
We'll be here live every morning from 6 to 7 on 12-ounce Sports Radio.
So you guys are talking about these young quarterbacks hitting the league. There's a young quarterback that looks like he's in trouble over in San Francisco. With Jimmy G going out, they say that it's an ACL tear. Do you guys think the 49ers are 100% done now?
Yes. I mean, where were they the last 4 or 5 years without Jimmy G? And they weren't winning with Jimmy G. Like they had that 7-game winning streak, I think it was, when they traded for him. And, yeah, he brought them back to life. I think a lot of that had to do with that. It was at the end of the season, so teams were kind of either cruising to the playoffs or they were already out of the playoffs, so they didn't really care. And Jimmy G still looked good at the beginning of the season, but he wasn't winning games for the Niners like everybody thought he was going to.
Now, this year had been a little bit of a disappointing start for San Francisco. He wasn't lighting it up like he was last year. Like you mentioned, that winning streak, I think a lot of 49ers fans were excited about what this guy was going to be bringing. Kyle Shanahan, bringing that new style of offense to San Francisco.
Did you
and
say Shanahan bringing a new style of offense in?
Yeah. He was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons who had that prolific offense and they go to the Super Bowl. So then he comes over to San Francisco. So as a 49ers fan, I'm talking about their fan base, they were excited about what Shanahan was bringing in. What
Gotcha. Okay.
you disagree with this?
I never trusted Shanahan, but keep going. Keep going with your thoughts.
Well, you don't have to trust him. He's going to be in trouble now this year. I don't think there's going to be any hope for any restoration. Now, there are some teams saying, well, what if the Browns want to offload Tyrod Taylor since they've got Mayfield now? What if some of these other teams are looking to maybe make some trades? Sam Bradford's, he doesn't look like he's going to be starting anymore. It looks like the Rosen era might be start. Who?
Colin Kaepernick.
And that would be an interesting pick because him going back to the 49ers where it all started for him, do you think he's even going to ever get a shot? I hate to go down this rabbit hole, but
he'll never get a shot again.
He's doing great as a Nike spokesman. His endorsements are doing really well, and they're paying him good money. So, hey, he could just ride that train.
Yeah, I would. But,
all right, and you guys weren't here on Thursday and Friday, so you didn't get the opportunity to discuss another young phenom at quarterback, and that would be the number 1 pick in the draft. Young Baker Mayfield comes out and looks like a young Joe Montana, and he delivers a comeback of all comebacks as the Browns come up with the big win. How do you guys feel about this big Baker Mayfield development? You think this is the future for Cleveland, and do you think the future looks bright?
Okay, you're blowing it up a little bit, but
no, this is big. No.
They won one game. I get it. Celebrate, but it's he's good. We all knew he was good. I always said he was probably the best quarterback in the. Well, no, I said my boy Lamar was the best quarterback in the draft, but Baker's a good second. He was better than Darnold on Thursday night. Absolutely, I think Darnold was starstruck. He was over there just watching him. He was like, man, I wish I can do that. Baker is the future of the Browns. Baker is the future of any team that he goes to be honest with you. Hopefully he can do some things at the Browns, but if not, 3 years, 4 years, if my boy Aaron Rodgers can't keep healthy, hey, Baker, come on over to Green Bay, buddy.
Already jumping the Aaron Rodgers ship while his contract ink is still wet.
You just got embarrassed by the Redskins and you're already jumping ship.
Man, his contract ink isn't even dry already, and you're like, "Hey, Baker, what's up, buddy? When that rookie contract is up, come hit up your boy."
He can come hang over it with Aaron, or after Aaron, bro. It's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be around forever. It's either Green Bay's going to get him, or damn New England, Bill Belichick, he'll go give him something. So.
If Baker Mayfield ends up a franchise quarterback, there's no way the Browns let him go. They will probably make him a 2. They would probably spend the entire salary cap on them if they could.
Just to keep him.
He's the Tim Couch of this generation for the Cleveland Browns.
I wish you could hit me with a because I'm a genius, Loudbeard, because we said it. Both you and I are geniuses because we both said it's Baker Mayfield time. We said that on Wednesday before. Exactly.
Because I'm a genius.
Yeah, we said it before. We knew that Tyrod was doing okay, but not enough to get them the wins, and they needed a spark. They needed a new energy, and you drafted this guy number 1 overall for a reason, and I was glad to see that Baker Mayfield got in the game. Not why he got in the game. I wish the coaches would have made that decision on their own instead of having fate make that decision for them. But and we wish Tyrod the best in getting healthy. Nobody likes to see that, but
I like Tyrod.
Yeah, me too. I like him too. It just when you're losing close games, you got to change something up to hopefully get something going. It's just the way it is.
I agree with you. Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback on that team. Absolutely, he proved it. He got him the first win in 635 days. They were counting down the days, not the games. That's kind of crazy.
As they say at the beginning of Titanic, it's been 84 years. It seems like it. If you're a Browns fan, I bet you it seems like that.
Why are you quoting Titanic? I don't
Because that's
understand
what I do. I'm Chris America. I'm a man of many hats. I'm a man of many
I was
talents.
on a date night last night, and they watched a romantic.
That's right.
Titanic.
There was
I don't,
listen.
I don't remember that part of the whole movie. I think I saw the movie once 20 years ago. Man.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite
watch
gifs.
Titanic every 3 months. Don't
It's
lie.
one of my
does?
favorite gifs to
Me?
use on Twitter. Yeah, you.
Oh.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
And listen, there was
I've never
there was
seen you use that GIF on Twitter. I think
I have.
I think you have a
He has.
I have.
false identity
He
that
has,
we don't even know about.
and listen, there was room for two on that door there for Jack. Jack could have gotten
She
up
was
on that.
selfish as hell,
Yeah.
wasn't she? She was
I'll never
selfish,
let
bro.
go of Jack, and then she just let him
She
go.
just
5
let go.
seconds later.
God dang it, bro. She's horrible.
Man, it's cinema, man. This is what they do. They got to make it a little bit more, I guess, dramatic than what you would expect.
So do you think they were on the door and she actually held on to him for a couple hours?
Wait a second. This is a sports show. Speaking of the Titanic, the Cardinals are sinking right now, and they go and they get their Rose, and they say, Josh Rosen, save him, and he can't do it. Josh Rosen throws an interception in his first drive as an NFL player. He could have done the Baker Mayfield, came back, saved the Cardinals season, and he just looks ho-hum, average Josh is what we're going to call him, because the real Josh, the Josh that's a superstar, is the Josh that is out in Buffalo. The real winning quarterback out of this draft is the Buffalo Bills, the Viking Slayer himself, Josh Allen.
Hashtag Josh Rosen. Hashtag who?
Josh Allen. Josh
Yeah, I'm just
Allen,
saying,
man.
Josh Rosen isn't the guy. I think we've talked about this before. I just don't see it in him. I have questions about Mahomes. I've never had questions about Rosen. He ain't it. That's not the guy. Just saying.
I mean,
If
let's give him another week. Josh Allen, last week we were trashing that guy. He was awful his first start. And yes, he came out against a great Vikings defense and did well. Josh Rosen's first start is against Khalil Mack and the Chicago Bears. Not the type of game I want to come out my first go when I got those guys pounding me left and right. So let's give him a couple of weeks.
But come on, Darnold threw an interception his first pass in the NFL, and he ended up winning that game. And
Who was that against? Who was that against again?
Shut up, man.
The Detroit Lions. That's not the Chicago Bears. I mean,
I'm
yes,
just saying.
the Lions did, however, shock the world and beat the Patriots down. And this is the first back-to-back loss by double digits in, I think, 16 years for the Patriots. Is there cause for concern, Loudbeard, over New England?
Yeah. And I want to go back to my bold prediction I made earlier in the season.
Wait, the GOAT isn't the GOAT anymore? What is something here?
I mean, he'll always be the GOAT. You don't take away the GOAT.
Anthony Mack, I just want to let you know, sir, that earlier this season I said that you were going to see a little bit of drop-off from Tom Brady this season. The reason is he's old. He has gotten old. Eventually, everybody sees this cliff come. And I think this is the year that you see Tom Brady take a step back. He's not going to be able to carry the team on his back like he always has. Now, they've got Gronkowski, but they really don't have a great wide receiver core. Josh Gordon may bring a little bit of electricity to this offense, but he's inactive last night. He's struggling with a hamstring, and he needs to get acclimated to the offense. I just don't see it, and the defense is absolutely trash. They can't do anything on defense. I'd be worried if I was a Patriots fan. Now, because you have the GOAT, you always think that it's going to work out okay, and it might just work out okay because you are going up against the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, but Miami Dolphins are 3-0 this year. They're leading the division.
Come on, man. Don't get on that Miami train.
Where did this come from? Miami is back.
No, Miami had the most softball schedule you could ask for.
Don't do it.
It's ridiculous. I mean, who do they play? They played the Raiders, the Jets, and the Titans. These aren't world beaters in the NFL, man.
The Titans beat the Jags. We think the Jags are one of the best teams in the league, and the Titans beat the Jags. They have a great defense.
I understand that. I understand that, but
no. Who thought the Jags was one of the best teams in the league?
I
told
do.
You Bortles was gonna bomb.
They were one play away from winning the AFC Championship last year. They have a world beater defense.
No, dude, Bortles will be Bortles. I don't
listen.
care what you say,
That
dude.
9-6 game was an off the wall. It's the exception to the rule, not the rule. But
He did it in
we'll
the playoffs.
see. We'll see what the Dolphins do when they have to.
He did it in the first week of the playoffs last year and barely got by. He's bound to do it 3 or 4 more times.
The Dolphins have a reeling Patriots team at home, or they're going to be at New England. So we're going to see Tom Brady go off on the Dolphins next week. Then they have to go at the Bengals. Bengals are okay. That's not like a big deal. Then they have the Chicago Bears coming to Miami, the Detroit Lions, and then they have your Packers back in November. I see them being a 500 team by the time they reach the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. Absolutely. They're not going to stay stagnant like they are. You know that, man. It's not only what you guys call the GOAT. Bill Belichick is back there scheming right now. He didn't sleep last night. You know that, right? He's watching film.
Were you watching
he's cutting players. It's going to be a rough 3-4 weeks for him, but they're going to get through it. Absolutely.
And, I mean, they played a Lions team that was 0-2. The Lions needed to get off the mat. They needed to get a win for Matt Patricia. And when you have the defensive coordinator who has been the defensive coordinator at New England since forever, you have to think that he knows all of Josh McDaniel's schemes. He knows his play calling habits. He knows Tom Brady's habits. He knows he's gone up a practice with this offense over and over and over and over and over again, where the Patriots didn't have that same thing on the other side of the ball. Like, they don't go against Jim Bob Cooter all the time. And Jim Bob Cooter called a great game last night for the Lions and Matt Stafford.
Yeah,
he did. He's one of the best. Hey, gentlemen, I hate to do this to you. I hate to rain on your parade. But it is time for a commercial break, so we're going to have to do a quick commercial break. On the flip side, we might talk more NFL. We might talk college football. Yes, there was college football games this weekend. Is Tiger Woods back? I don't know. All of these questions and the mysteries of the world could be answered if you just hang tight.
Hell no, Tiger Woods ain't back.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst."
Oh, guess who it is? Did you know the station had a janitor? Oh yeah, the Hefe, otherwise known as Beck. And it's Beck's Workweek in Review live on 12-ounce sports radio every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch interviews, special guests, and the recap of the week's news and headlines and box scores and results. It's Beck's Workweek in Review live on 12-ounce sports radio.
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-ounce sports radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb. Welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Sports. We are the Scout Team, and you listen to us live every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. and again at 11 a.m. on 12ouncesportsradio.com. 12-Ounce Sports Radio is one of the fastest growing and best sports radio stations on all of the interweb. And with that being said, there is an incredible lineup ahead of us today. You can always listen to Clutch Talk Sports on 8 a.m. It is one of our sports affiliates from Sports Radio America. We also, at noon, we bring over College Credit Hour with the great Memphis Spence. Later in the day, we've got Off the Field, Bourbon and Bad Opinions, Stick and Rink, Brunch with the Buds, the Vegas Squares, and at 10 p.m. tonight, the Primetime Angles radio show live. This show is a great show if you want to learn how to be the best sports gambler in the entire world. This guy gives you great insider information, not that illegal insider information you get arrested for, but like the good insider information. And make sure you check him out. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I'm lagging a little bit today. It's Monday, and every Monday I feel like once I start coming off of that commercial, I get tired, and I think I need some motivation. Do you guys need some motivation?
It's Monday. I'm good. I'm always
Chris
good.
America, are you able to help us out with some motivation? Are you locked and loaded as we have been told on the pregame show?
I am locked and loaded. I'm ready to go. And just for you, Loudbeard, I want
to be motivated.
I picked out a good motivational speech by The Rock, inspired and motivated by your fantasy draft with Jimmy Young. I have locked and loaded it. Hopefully you're not feeling too down about that loss. I voted for you because he picked Pain and Gain, which is one of the worst movies of all time. There's no way you can pick... Pain and Gain is awful. It is a long, boring, stupid movie.
Are you serious?
Well, I'm 1-3 in fantasy drafts, so yeah, I need to get brought up, man. Bring me up. I need.
All right, here we go. From Gridiron Gangs.
This is it. The day you've been waiting for. I know you're nervous. So am I. My first game, too. Now it's time to go out there and put it on the scoreboard. Now it's time to see who has the heart. Now is the time to prove to yourselves and prove to everyone out there that even though you're locked up, you are somebody. And you are worthy of something. And you're able to do something special that no one else in the world can do. Which you can walk through those doors, hold your heads up high, and call yourselves Mustangs. Are you ready to go out there and take what's yours? Yeah! What you've worked hard for? Yeah! Are you ready to accept the Mustang Challenge?
Yeah, listen, I know you're locked up in that cubicle, if I can talk. I know you're locked up in that cubicle. I know that you think you're a nobody, but you need to march down into that boss's office and tell him that you're worth something. Tell him that you are a Mustang. Tell him you need that raise. Tell him you need that promotion, because that is the Mustang way. Motivational Monday, hashtag that ish.
Oh, boy. I am taking the Mustang Challenge today. I take it. I believe in the Mustang Challenge, Chris America. Thank you for motivating me on this beautiful Monday. And
definitely make sure you tell your boss you're a Mustang, and that will definitely get you promoted.
I'm a Mustang. I'm like Black Beauty running through the fields, just galloping like Beauty. I'm a Mustang.
He said I'm a Mustang.
Oh,
speaking of long curly hair.
Speaking of a Mustang, I think one of my favorite Mustangs of all time is Dwight Howard. And I just want to give you guys a quick little Dwight Howard a video here, or a sound clip. You know, I don't know what Mustang has anything to do with Dwight Howard. I just wanted to play this for my motivations this morning.
I ain't gonna lie, Dwight. You've been in the league for a long time, and we don't even know who the hell you play for.
Hold on. He tried with the Magic.
That was tragic.
And then he tried with the Hawks.
That's what he thought.
And then he tried with the Rockets.
They told his ass you need to stop it. Hold on. I know you want to get mad, but there's no need to get physical.
Oh, now I know why they call him Dwight. Why? Because the white man always getting rid of you.
Wow. Oh, man. That was on MTV's Wild and Out, presented by Nick Cannon. And I heard that this weekend. I had to play it because I was laughing my hiney off.
Man, he's going to be sent to the burn unit, man. They're going to have to skin graft him to get rid of those third-degree burns he got.
That was rough.
That was awesome. I'm going to have to watch that a couple of times today.
Well, if you watch the full thing, there's some other good stuff on there, but that was like the end, and that was by far the best part. But yeah, that was good stuff, man.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I felt like we're not going to get this many times to celebrate an FSU win. So I feel like since we got the Golden Ghost on the line in studio, we need to celebrate a Seminole war chant win. I'm excited. I'm happy for my boy Anthony. He got his win. So here we go. We're going to live it up. How did they look? I didn't watch any of the game. How did they look, Anthony? Did the offensive line get any better?
Yeah, look, man, we played a high school team, man. It's seriously though, man. It's kind of hard to get all excited about someone that you should beat. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I can say is our offense actually clicked. They actually got their stuff together. Defense played decent ball. Still not sold on the offensive line, but we won. They looked good against the high school team. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you're an excited fan. I can just feel your excitement. Oh my God!
Man,
I'm trying to pump him up, and he still sounds defeated, like they lost, man.
You want me to be real, right? I'm being real. Like,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Noise.
FSU does against high school teams.
You guys have Louisville next week.
We have Louisville and then the big boys, Miami afterwards. So you asking, do I get excited about Northern Illinois? Like, hell no, I don't get excited about Northern
That's a rough patch. You're at Louisville and at Miami. We're gonna have to get Lou the dog. We're gonna have to get Lou the dog back on the line on Wednesday night, I think.
I know. Well, we need to talk about his beef with Daniel Baldwin. It just continues.
Oh, does it?
Daniel Baldwin?
Yeah, no, I saw Craft Brewed Sports keeps like atting Daniel Baldwin, and so Daniel Baldwin came back and just said bye to Craft Brewed Sports because I think he's getting annoyed that Lou the dog took him to the house and he's blocking everybody. Daniel Baldwin doesn't want anything of Lou the dog, and Lou the dog, congratulations, sir. You get to hear his stuff on 12 Ounce Sports Radio, but Lou the dog is a master mind, and we need to make sure that we give him all the respect he deserves, and that includes Daniel Baldwin giving him respect.
So wait, Daniel Baldwin's blocking everybody? Is that what you said, Labbeard?
Yes.
Time to make him the offensive line coach at FSU.
Oh, man. Hold on. I wasn't ready for that.
I hate you. Yeah. Our offensive line still has, I mean, we beat Northern Illinois, but I think we still gave up like 2 or 3 sacks. So, yeah, we still got a little work to do.
Listen, Taggart's having a rough start. Scott Frost is having a rough start. Chip Kelly's having a rough start. You know who's not having a rough start? Is my boy, my man, Dan Mullen. Yes, he played another high school team in Tennessee Volunteers, but he's got all the same excuses that FSU and Nebraska and UCLA fans have, but he's having none of it on the football field. He's not just beating these teams by close margins. He's rolling the teams that he needs to roll. I think we're starting to learn that Kentucky is a little bit more serious, and this isn't your granddad's Kentucky team. Stoops is working some magic, and they have an NFL running back on their team with Snell Jr. So we still don't know about what Florida is or what Kentucky is, but Dan Mullen is taking over a power eye offense, a pro-style offense, and putting in a spread offense concepts. And, hey, man, they're working it. They're dominating every phase of the game. Loudbeard, I already know what Mac's answer is going to be, so I'm going to throw it to you first. Is Dan Mullen the best new hire of all the new hires this season?
No.
So then who is?
Josh Heupel. So Dan Mullen's not even the best new head coach in the state of Florida. I'm just throwing that out there. He's the second best new coach in the state of Florida. They're still an undefeated team, 16 wins in a row that have been strung together. And yes, one of those, some of those wins were from Scott Frost, but we see that this was the team. It wasn't Scott Frost because Scott Frost is struggling in Nebraska. This is about the UCF team. And Josh Heupel has come in and he's really shown what he can do as an offensive coach. We're still waiting on the defense to show up from here and there. They've struggled a little bit, but I believe in ex-Gator legend Randy Shannon. What would you say?
You've
What?
never had defense. Sorry.
Mm.
I'm just saying you
To
never
your honor,
had great
it
defense.
was unbelievable.
For you to
understand?
say something about our defense when you have that trash school over in Tallahassee, I don't even know what what gives you the right, sir. What gives you the right?
You're acting like I don't know that we're trash. I know we're trash, bro.
I just want to keep reminding you because you interrupted me to tell me about my defense.
Okay. First of all,
your secondary has always been trash. How about that?
listen. Let's get away from this argument here, and let's remove all coaches who took over a Porsche, and let's just talk about the coaches that took over Pintos. Okay, out of all the coaches that took over Pintos, Loudbeard. Not the guy that got handed a Ferrari and said, "Hey, try to drive over 200 miles per hour if you can."
Wait. We got handed a Ferrari. We sucked last year too.
He's talking about UCF.
I'm talking about UCF, bro. I'm talking about all the guys that got handed Pintos.
You're talking about Scott Frost.
I'm talking about Josh Heupel doesn't count in this conversation because we won't know about him until 2 years from now when all of the current roster is flushed out of that program. Then we'll know what Josh Heupel is as a coach, which I still think he's a good coach. But out of all the guys that got handed a Pinto, is Dan Mullen the best?
Well, he's a close. I think Jimbo Fisher would be number 1, and then number 2 would be Dan Mullen.
I mean, we'll find out where Jimbo is. I mean, he got blown out by Alabama, which I think Dan Mullen would as well.
Yeah.
And
They kept
he
it
had
closer
a close
than any other team. I mean, Alabama's head and shoulders above everybody else.
What?
I guess. I mean, they lost by, 20 points?
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if we're going for moral victories, I guess I'll give it to Jimbo.
Jimbo. He almost beat Clemson, too.
Okay, so you got Jimbo and then Dan Mullen. I got you. Okay. I can feel that.
I'm actually impressed with what Jimbo Fisher has done. I didn't think he was going to come in and make such an immediate impact. And I think Texas A&M, their schedule's rough. They've had to play Clemson and Alabama in the first 4 weeks of the season. So to go 2-2 in that stretch and be in the game for the Clemson game and not let Alabama blow you out by more than 20, you lose by 20. That's really not that bad because Alabama, was it more than 20? What was the score? Maybe it was like 30.
22.
But still, they've been beating teams by 50 and 60. So, I'm giving them credit. Dan Mullen, though, he's doing a great job over at Florida. I don't think there was a lot of expectations going into this season. I think the Gators were thinking maybe 2 to 3 year project to get this team back to relevance, and they're already starting to make an impact. The Dan Mullen coaching staff and this regime is starting to really see a turnaround. I guess when you go up against some of the likes of like what Jim McElwain had done over there and Will Muschamp and it's just it doesn't take a whole lot to make that team better, does it?
I mean, better as in like improving. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot, but I'll tell you what. This is what you got. You got Mississippi State this week. You have LSU the following week.
Yep.
I think Vanderbilt, and then the big one, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia.
That's a rough.
That's a
rough
gauntlet.
batch.
That's a gauntlet right there.
That's a gauntlet.
So if we come out with 2 losses out of there, I'd feel pretty good. If we lost to LSU and Georgia, I'd feel all right. After seeing, I was worried about Mississippi State until I watched Kentucky roll them. I mean, they just utterly just ran them over, and I'm not sold yet that we're gonna beat them, but I'm not as worried about it as I was prior to this weekend. And then we'll see what we can do against LSU. LSU took everything they had to beat Louisiana Tech. It was a close game throughout the third quarter, and then they finally pulled away. So I thought we were going to see another LSU losing to a Sun Belt team at home again this year, but they were able to pull it through this time. So I'm not completely sold on LSU yet either.
In-state rival. They always play them tough, though.
Did you just call Louisiana Tech an in-state rival to Louisiana State? Like, did that just happen?
No,
what?
But they're both in the same state, so he's kind of half right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
So is Louisiana Monroe. In-state rivals.
I mean, I can honestly say, Mac, you've probably never once paid attention to a Louisiana Tech LSU game before in your life.
He watches the game film every week.
I probably
Coach Mac.
have. Hey, don't at me. Calm down.
Another name I would throw in there with a new coach is that has honestly impressed me. I was down on him just because I just didn't think he had it in him. Is Herm Edwards. I watched a little bit of that Washington Arizona State game, and he didn't back down to the challenge of going into Seattle, playing a top 10 team. A lot of people think they're a top 10 team. And first play off the bat, they get an interception. They return it down to the 10-yard line and score a touchdown. And it was a little bit of a back-and-forth game. I was kind of impressed with Herm Edwards this past weekend.
Yeah.
I like it. No, this was a close game. They only lose by one score, and they try to rally at the end, and Washington ends up holding them off. But you see that this team is motivated. What Herm Edwards is doing there is working. This isn't Arizona State is not a team that every year we come in thinking, oh, they're going to be a top 25 team. He is getting this team to that level where we may consider them a top 25 team very soon. And I'm impressed. I'll have to give that to you. I mean, he might be, maybe in the top 3 or 4 of new coaches this year. He's looking that good.
Interesting.
Well, tell us your thoughts, Mac. You're not sold?
Herm Edwards, man, you should have stayed retired, bro. I don't know. For one, he took the job at Arizona State. Like, that's not going to boost your reputation. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, it can't hurt.
It definitely can't hurt him.
You just say it's Arizona State. They're not normally a good team. So what did you want from me? Trying to recruit to Arizona in the desert.
I'm just saying.
You got an out. It's like why Chip Kelly went to UCLA.
Chip Kelly's in a different ball game, and well, I've never had faith in Chip Kelly anyway, right? I told you guys that. Like when the job got bypassed him for Florida, when he bypassed that job, I said it was the best mistake you didn't make. Chip Kelly wasn't a Florida guy, so you're kind of good that you didn't get him.
If Chip Kelly was still at Oregon, they wouldn't have lost to Stanford this past week. They needed a coach. That was a mess of a game. I don't even know what was going on there. Oregon had that game won. They just kneel. Just do something. Let's just fumble the ball all over the place. Give it back to Stanford. Chip Kelly would have taken that Oregon team and won that game.
Would Willie Taggart have taken that Oregon team and won that game?
No, that's definitely a no.
Dude, you're still on Willie T, man. Get off of my coach.
All right, so everybody else is on Willie T. I need to back off. I feel bad. This is a sympathy back off. I'll go ahead. Willie T, you're doing a good job over there, man.
There was better games anyway. Oklahoma and Army.
You watched that one on
man, I
pay-per-view?
wish I would
Did
have
you buy
watched that one.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of that one. I was
like, did you?
Whoa, wait a minute.
Did you watch a little bit of that one?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that one, like the final minutes of overtime.
Wasn't it on pay-per-view?
No, it was on. Dude, I told you I'm a pirate, man. Don't be asking me no questions, man.
Arr.
All right.
I did watch the highlights, and I thought the crazy thing about that game, I mean, it's your typical triple option team versus, the high-flying offensive team. Oklahoma would have the ball for 2 minutes and score a touchdown, and then I think they had like 19 plays, 12-minute drives for Army. And I think that's the only reason why Oklahoma didn't run up the score. I think the line on that game was 31 points, and if you took the points on Oklahoma, you were an idiot. You don't ever bet on a 31-point spread against a triple option team. That just rarely never works out for you.
They hold the ball forever. I mean, that's the design of the game. They hold the ball. They don't let you get to it. So, but it looked like a decent game. I wish I would have watched the whole thing. And Army, baby, go Army.
I wish they would have been in the upset though.
Why would you want Oklahoma to get upset, man?
No, I'm just tired. I love the upset. I live for the upset, and I'm tired of these teams almost getting upset every week. There's like 2 or 3 of these like big name teams that are just on the brink of getting upset, and then they end up pulling it out.
Well, Loudbeard, you got it. You got it with Old Dominion dethroning Virginia Tech. I mean, we finally learned what Virginia Tech was. The Old Dominion was the first real team that Virginia Tech played this season, and they got beat.
That's true.
I mean, fair and square.
That's true. Oh, man, there's like hundreds of things that we could continue to talk about.
We'll have to do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're going to pick up where we're left off. We've got more NFL. We've got more college football. We've got a Monday Night Football game. Tiger Woods is back, Anthony Mack, even though you disagree. He wins the Tour Championship. We didn't even get to talk a lot about that, but we're getting up against it. We're going to do we're going to be heading out here. Do you guys have any parting words that you want to say to all of our fans out there, all of our listeners, other than thank you for listening in?
Yeah, no matter what you guys say, Mullen's the man. He's the best new hire there is. Go Gators.
No matter what you say, Mullen isn't the man. He'll be gone in 3 years, and Tiger Woods isn't back.
All right, I disagree with all of you.
You mispronounced Willie Taggart.
Oh.
Mullen will be gone in 3 years. That's your MO. Sorry.
All right, peace.
We're out of here.
Don't at me, man. Just don't.
Dude, I'm gonna at you. At
Man,
Matt
Willie
Scout
T,
Team.
gone in 3 years. Who are you looking
Hey,
forward to as your
Jim.
next coach, Anthony?
Hey, listen.
Who do you want your next coach to be?
You know Mullen's going to be gone in 3 years.
I heard Terry Bowden's still looking for a job.